Hi, I'm Sarah, and today we're going to be looking at some knives and cutting boards. We're going to be looking at the different kinds of knives and how they're used, and also the cutting boards and how they're used, and how to care for your knives and cutting boards. Let's look at the different kinds of knives that you'll be using in your kitchen. First we have the chef's knife, also known as the French knife, the utility knife, the paring knife, the bread knife, and the carving knife. The first knife that we have is the chef's knife, also known as the French knife. And this is the one that you're going to be using most in your kitchen for a lot of your preparation work. The one that I have here is 8 inches long. You can get them 10 inches if you desire. Since your chef's knife is going to be the one that you use most in your kitchen, I suggest that you get one that will last for a long time, for many years. You use it for a lot of slicing, dicing, mincing, chopping, a lot of that kind of heavier work. And when you pick out a knife, you want to make sure that it feels good in your hand, that it feels balanced, that it doesn't feel awkward when you try to move it around. If you get a knife that feels awkward when you hold it, it's going to make it very difficult when you're trying to prepare your vegetables and fruits in the kitchen. After the chef's knife, we have the utility knife. This one is 6 inches long, and this one you can use for working with smaller things. You don't want to use it for anything heavy. Your chef's knife is better for using for heavy stuff. But for your utility knife, you can use it for stuff like fruits, small vegetables, stuff like that. After the utility knife, we have the paring knife. This one is 3.5 inches long, and this one I would say comes second to the chef's knife in the amount of time that you're going to be using it. You can use your paring knife for finer work such as hulling strawberries, coring tomatoes, peeling fruits, and cutting small objects. And this is one that you should definitely have in your kitchen. If you're just going to have 2 knives, you should definitely have a chef's knife and a paring knife if you're not going to have anything else. After the paring knife, we have the bread knife. And the bread knife is good for pretty much just that, bread. I have used it to cut pineapples though, because it has these ridges right here that make it sharp, so it's good for cutting through tough skin. So if you want to use it for cutting through something tough like a pineapple, that's good. But other than that, it's pretty good for just bread. The final knife is the carving knife. And this knife is good for stuff like carving meat, cooked meat such as turkey, ham, chicken, cutting it into sizes that are good for eating and serving. Now that we've looked at the different kinds of knives and how they're used, let's talk about how to care for your knives. First off, you never want to put your knives in the dishwasher. Dishwasher liquid is killer on knife blades, and it can wear away at them over time. When you wash your knives, you want to make sure you wash them by hand with hot water. Also, you want to store your knives in a wood block. Never put them in the drawer because they can get jostled around in there and their edges can get dulled by hitting other knives, and you could possibly be injured when you reach in to pull out a knife. If you store them in a wood block, then your edges will stay sharp and you will have no chance of getting hurt. Now that we've talked about knives and how they're used, let's talk about your cutting boards. When you get a cutting board, you want to make sure that you get one that's made out of something that's a softer material such as wood, silicone, or plastic. You don't want to get hard materials such as ceramics and glass, because those can wear away at the edges of your knives and dull them. The one that I have here is made of wood. It's a combination of oak, cherry, and maple, and this is good because it's soft enough that it will not dull your knife, but it's also hard enough that you can use it for cutting. And the other one that I have here is made of silicone. When you also use your cutting boards, you want to stabilize them with something so they don't jostle around when you're cutting. I have this cutting board here, has some plastic feet on the bottom so it doesn't move around. For the other cutting board I have a piece of drawer liner here that I cut out into a square. So I just put the drawer liner down, put the cutting board on top of it, and then it stays firm so that when I cut, the cutting board stays in place and I have no chance of cutting myself. Now when caring for your cutting boards, I suggest that you wash your wood ones by hand because they can get ruined in the dishwasher. Be sure that you wash them with hot water and soap and scrub them really well because bacteria can lodge in the little grooves in your cutting board and that can potentially be a health hazard. If your cutting board is something like silicone and it can go in the dishwasher, by all means put it in the dishwasher. Hi, my name is Sarah.
Wait, oh, sorry, I talked.
The paring knife, the boning knife, excuse me, the bread knife. I need to say it again. Sorry. Can we do it again? No, I said it messed up. I messed up. After the utility knife, excuse me.
It's kind of hard to, upload all this with all the talking, so let's cut to the chase.
Okay, fine.
No pun intended. Cut to the chase.
Let's look at the different kinds.
Sorry, last time.
And this is the knife that you're going to be using most in your...
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry.
What?
Don't kill me with that knife.
Which has coring tomatoes, pulling strawberries, and... what else? Can I just do that again? And this knife is good for cutting cut meats, or cooked meats, such as... cut meats. Good for cutting cooked meats. You could cut meats and make it smaller.
But you would want your paring knife for mincing that.
Yes. And this knife is good for cutting cooked meat such as turkey, chicken, and ham. Cutting it into slices for serving. The final knife is the carving knife. We should put those in the bloopers.
It's all going in the bloopers. This is one big blooper.